Try it again.
Like that?
Yeah.
Oh, there.
Is there anybody out there?
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, I see this little blue light here, but...
Yeah, it's Friday.
Oh, all right. It's final day of August, too.
It is. August 31st, 2018. Hope everybody had a nice day. It's Joe Chaffee, Fios 1 News, Long Island, and Fios 1 News, New Jersey.
And Joe Rayo, Fios 1 News, Lower Hudson Valley. And as promised, Joe, a big cool down over the recent days with temperatures mostly in the 70s today.
I don't understand. Some people actually are, they liked it the way it was. Summertime, I enjoy the summer. I know you're going to have some hot days. I know you're going to have some humid days. But as Bill Goodman described it to me in a message this morning when I was talking to him, it was downright disgusting for 3 days. I mean, really, It was horrible. The dew points were off the wall.
Right.
It was like walking in a bowl of soup, hot soup.
Yeah, you can break a sweat just stepping outside to walk the dog or whatever. But today, even though it was rather cloudy, even though we had a few rain showers here and there during the afternoon, temperatures were in the 70s, and it didn't feel bad at all.
No, I really didn't. I enjoyed the break. Jason Schaefer's on. Joseph Pan is on. Chris Vella is on. Let's see. Who else? Philip Jacino, Christina Morel, James Hallmark, Erica Scalise, Brooks DeForges Carmack from St. Augustine, Florida. Boy, wow. Nice. Welcome. Joe Picataggi. By the way, I was thinking what we could do is we could make Friday night. My pal Angry Ben does this every so often, and I think it's probably a good idea. We could make Friday nights Ask Us Anything night.
Oh yeah.
So it's Friday night. Ask Us Anything. We'll real quick. We'll just do some weather, and this way we can get a little relaxed. There's nothing really too much going on. So. What do we start off with? La Dépression de Tropical.
Okay.
Does that work for you?
All right, yeah.
All right.
So things are finally beginning to rev up a little bit.
Yeah, I've got the wide satellite view here. You can. It's on the lower right corner is where the tropical depression. It's now a tropical depression, by the way. It was potential tropical cyclone, and they write advisories as if it is a depression. And now they were able to show what looks like a much better defined center. And you can see it on the enhanced loop here. By the way, this is all courtesy of tropicaltidbits.com. We always like to give credit because you're very generous about letting us share their maps. But you can see it here. Pretty well concentrated area of thunderstorms seems to have developed in and around the center. It's probably going to become a tropical storm tonight. It's no threat to us. To land, nothing that's going to concern us, at least in the next 5 to 7 days at the very least, if at all. But it does, as you say, Joe, it's leading to what looks like a very active period.
It does, and I saw murmurings on a few Facebook sites about I don't like the positioning of that high pressure relative to that tropical cyclone, implying that maybe it was going to come rather close to the eastern seaboard. But as things stand right now, a couple of troughs in the upper atmosphere will probably not pick this thing up, and this thing will ultimately, in fact, seem to go sweeping to the north and east and on up through the middle part of the Atlantic Ocean.
Right, because there's a weakness there, and you can actually see it here.
Yeah.
Ridge off the east, ridge in the eastern U.S., ridge off the African coast, a weak ridge that's getting dented by a trough that's from Portugal on west of the Canary Islands, in between the Canaries and the Azores, and it's got this opening, and you can actually see a trough that's swinging off the southeastern Canada that just kind of draws it up there, and it doesn't quite pick it up.
No.
It's actually the third one that comes along here and gets it, at least according to the GFS.
Right.
European has a slightly different picture here, but I think the ultimate outcome would be the same anyway.
And by the way, for the people who, when they show maps 7, 8, 9 days in advance, and they say they don't like the look of the way things are going, they like the way things are going, I think.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they really, they're in their heart, they probably are saying to themselves, "Come on, get a little closer to the coastline. Come on, come on, come on."
No, we're not. Yeah, that's not our game.
No.
And by the way, the European has actually the most bullish view in the longer term. They all the models have the tropics really kind of getting very active in the next couple of weeks. The European actually has 3 systems, and if we go back, it even wants to flare up. There's a tropical wave. There's if you want to call it that isobar that you see sort of dented there in the Gulf of Mexico. There's a little low that the European forms out of that. It's been doing this on and off for the last couple of days, and that wave is this one, or it should be if it loads. Yeah, okay, this is the Caribbean shot. But the tropical wave over the Dominican Republic and out into the Atlantic, very disorganized in terms of the showers there. It's moving west-northwest. It will probably bring some rains to Florida and the Gulf of, the Gulf Coast, regardless of whether it develops or not. The Hurricane Center is not rating this a big chance of developing, but we'll watch it as it goes westward.
The models were maybe 5, 6, 7 days.
A few days ago, they were revving something up, and then they kind of been backing off.
Right. So I don't think, especially if you live along the Gulf Coast, you need something really potent and really something scary looking to get your hackles up. And I don't think that what's out there right now is going to be anything worse than just some tropical downpours at times.
Yeah, I agree. So, with respect to the holiday weekend, we've been over this a few times. I don't think very much has changed. Thankfully, we didn't get the almost a foot of rain that fell in parts of southeast and south central PA today, which is just amazing.
I just cannot believe that. And that means that they're probably, unofficially, as we close the books in a few hours on August, unofficially, there were probably some places in eastern Pennsylvania that had close to 40 inches of rain this month.
Oh, I know. Insane. It's absolutely insane.
It is, what do you say after something like that? It's incredible.
I hear you. I don't see any big changes for us over the weekend. Tomorrow, actually, I think might be a halfway decent day. I think some places, certainly out on Long Island, I think it may go partly sunny for a good chunk of the day, and even for northern New Jersey and for you.
I said on Fires One with Fires One Lower Hudson Valley with Mike Gilliam just a little while ago that of the 3 weekend days, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, the best of the bunch, I think, will be Saturday. A day that most likely is going to be dry, a day that will probably start out with a lot of cloud cover, but as you just mentioned, by midday and afternoon, breaks in the clouds, some developing sun. Yes, it will be humid again or start turning humid, but certainly nothing that is going to be oppressive.
Right.
Just a little bit of a rise in the humidity. Then we start beginning to notice that rise in humidity on Sunday. Could be a couple of showers or storms later in the day especially, and then we're right back in the sauna
on Monday and for at least through Thursday of next week.
Yeah.
Philip Demore, I'm on vacation in Lancaster, PA, where York has received 9 inches of rain today. Water rescues all over PA. And you know what? Harrisburg hardly got anything out of this. You had, the area around Lancaster, York, really just got absolutely clobbered today. All right, so Roseanne Fernandez wants to ask the question, do you think we will get hit with a bad winter?
The big question about the upcoming winter season now, there's a war going on between the two almanacs. The old Farmer's Almanac, which is forecasting a relatively mild and wet winter here in the Northeast, and the regular Farmer's Almanac, which came about 20 years later, which is why they're not the old almanac, they're the slightly younger almanac. They're saying very cold weather and snow and another not so nice winter if you don't like cold and snow here in the Northeast. So who's going to win out on this? I know that there are other meteorologists out there. Mr. Bastardi, for example, I think is leaning toward a cold, snowy winter.
And when hasn't he leaned to the
I mean, there are some who think it's going to be cold and snowy, and again, then you got the old Farmer's Almanac. I think the old Farmer's Almanac is the only one that is going for mild and wet as opposed to cold and snowy.
I am not, as I've said many times before, and I'll say it again, don't ask, as we go through the fall, sure, we'll do some things about, we'll write about and look at snow cover across North America, we'll look at Siberian snow cover and all the rest of it. But you're not going to get a forecast out of me. I'm not doing it. I didn't do it last year, and the reason why I don't do it is I can't get my head around it. It's too. There's a lot of people that are really into it, and they look at what's going on in the Pacific, and they look what's going on over in the West Pacific, and the Madden-Julian oscillation, and the scrambled eggs index, and the SOI and all this. It's like, I can't. Enough, all right? I like to stay inside my little cocoon of, inside the 16-day time range, and particularly inside the 10-day time range, and I'm happy there. That's my happy place.
You sound like the guys at the Capital Weather Group with the Washington Post, which did the same.
I don't see that.
Did the same take with both almanacs.
Yeah.
They took them both to task. But unfortunately, or fortunately, depending upon your viewpoint, this is what the people want. If they don't, I'll tell you what, in 1939, the old Farmer's Almanac was bought out and changed publishers to Little Brown, I think, was the name of the publisher.
Mm-hmm.
And Little Brown decided they were going to stop the long-range forecast, and all they did was give climatological averages for the winter and for the summer and spring. And you never heard such a tremendous outcry from the readers of the old Farmer's Almanac. They wanted their long-range forecast. They didn't want climatological averages. One guy said, so in other words, if I stick my head in an oven and put my feet inside of a bowl with a cake of ice in it or whatever, my overall body temperature is going to be normal, right?
Right.
Based on the two
Right.
things. So the people want that, and so they cater to that.
Mike O'Brien, you ask me all the time. You ask me all the time, and I'm going to answer it the same way. I'm not sitting here worried about someone else's prediction with regards to September the 12th or the 22nd. Every time you write me about one of these things, I don't think a single one of them has come to fruition. So you know what? Broken clocks are right twice a day, and eventually somebody's going to get it right when they say something. But I'm not, you're asking a question about in September 12th to the 22nd, a certain person is thinking that
who's already been mentioned
before already tonight, is even worried for you down in Norfolk, Virginia. Look, you can't live your life this way, okay? So stop. Paul Goduzzi said he saw the radar throughout the day and noticed the precip just sitting on top of South Central PA. That it did all day long.
Yeah.
I was just, at least once or twice a summer, this seems to happen around here to somebody. It was a small cluster of thunderstorms. It literally just sat there all day. Some of the rain got into North Jersey, but it really wasn't, crazy rain. And then it all dried up after 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock anyhow. It was amazing. And if you're going to Hershey Park, double check to make sure that they're open. So I didn't hear that they were closed. I know they got closed down the last time, but you might want to double check.
Christina Morell says, I'm in a tropical depression.
I've got the blue water blues.
Can't shake this feeling. You can't
shake this loving you obsession. Can't stand the sand in my shoes. This forgetting you vacation. It's just a fool's holiday. If I can't get over you, this tropical depression's going to blow me away. That's what I think when I hear tropical depression. Who wrote that? Did somebody write that?
It sounds like the lyrics to some song, but...
It had to be you. It had to be you. Let's see. Happy Labor Day from Rita Marie Sepe. Rocco Fridella. Your two Joes are doing fine. And this one Joe's stopping off to pick up a cigar after we're done tonight, just to let you know.
Yes.
Okay?
And I picked up a card for my wife.
Right.
Tomorrow my wife and I will be married 34 years. I can't fathom that. You were a kid and you used to watch like the Flintstones or I Love Lucy.
The number was it wasn't you couldn't even conceive it.
And they said, well, we've been married for 15 years, Ralph. The Mertzes were married for like 25, and that seemed like an eternity. Right. And here I am sitting on 34 now. I can't believe that.
And time goes by. Plus, you did exactly what you need to do in order to make sure that you're still alive on Monday.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. You had to get the card.
Right.
Even got a card on behalf of the dog. for the anniversary.
Well, that's very important.
Yeah.
Just running through everybody's questions. So we'll try to make this. We'll try to do this Friday thing. We'll make Friday Ask Us Anything Day.
Keith Scally says we're going to have problems with mold if this heat. If
the humidity doesn't stop. I don't disagree. The dehumidifiers. You know, you buy humidifiers in the wintertime to keep you moist. You use dehumidifiers in the summertime to keep you dry. David Schwartz, are we still looking for a cloudy and a chance for a shower in New York Renaissance Fair tomorrow?
No, we're looking for a cloud-filled morning. The sun breaks through in the afternoon. No showers, no rain. I'm going to stand on my updated outlook here and say it's going to be a dry day tomorrow. Upper 70s, lower 80s. A bit more, just a wee bit more humid tomorrow as opposed to today. But at least it'll still be on the comfortable or tolerable side. Then the humidity starts coming back in on Sunday, and then we're back in that sauna box for Monday and for much of next week.
Scott Brilla wants to know, have we thought about American Idol? No, and I can tell you that American Idol hasn't thought about us. Let's see. Happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary.
You can go on YouTube and you can get that whole thing from the Flintstones, and I'm sure.
Oh, Dennis Cassia just wished you a happy anniversary.
Oh, thank you, Dennis.
And you're getting congratulations.
Oh.
When will the East experience a pattern-changing cold front to end the heat?
Now, didn't we were talking about yesterday?
Yeah. That
supposed cold front and that trough going by next weekend, 1040 high, dew points in the 20s, 57-degree high next Saturday in Albany. What happened to that, Joe?
You want to look?
I mean,
well, we said, you know, it was definitely subject to change without notice, and we knew that was going to be the case.
Lord.
And, you know, sure enough, if you look at, let me just bring it up for everybody to see. So if you look at this cold front and you look at what we're going through now, at least on, you know, on this run, it looks almost the same as what we're going through now. In fact, it barely gets the front through, and it's got rain issues here late next week and into next weekend because of the high not pushing down like the last time. So instead of having dew points in the 20s and 30s, our dew points barely get down to 60. So it's almost like what we're going through now. And actually, this is not a surprise because we have seen this, we have sung this song a few times in the month of August, where the models seem to want to get very aggressive and bring a front through, and you know, a nice shot of cool, dry air. And then reality is that the highs are not nearly as strong, the troughs not nearly as deep, and the pushes of dry air of much shorter duration, if they even get here at all.
And by the way, the Climate Prediction Center has already got their 3 to 4 week experimental outlook out for the middle and latter part of September. And Joe, about 70 or 80% of the country by the mid and late part of September is going to be above normal temperature-wise. And in our neck of the woods here in the Northeast, according to the CPC, we're looking for dry conditions. So warm and dry.
Yes, Jason, Barry. It'll be, you know, I don't know if it will be as, you know, are we going to get the dew points at 76 or 77? Maybe not that high, but, you know, we still could be with dew points every bit of 71 or 2 and temperatures at 90 or better in a lot of spots. It'll just be miserable from that respect, starting, maybe not so much on Monday. We'll be on the edge of it Monday, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, yeah, it's not going to be nice.
Well, Joe, I'm getting depressed thinking about this. Maybe we should just close this down.
I think that's a good idea. It's a Friday night. Everybody wants to go and do whatever it is they're going to do this weekend. I'm going to try. You know, I've worked 12 days in a row.
Now, I want to tell you this. This is the bionic weatherman. Not 12, 14 days.
No, it's 12.
12?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Believe me, if it may seem like 14, but it's 12.
That's right, because we had 5 and now
5
this
week,
and
then
2.
Right.
Because this guy is a trooper.
Well, I appreciate that, but I'm like, so, you know, it's a good thing that the weather, for the most part, the heat and the humidity is easy enough. We didn't have any big thunderstorms to deal with and severe weather, so that was good.
Did you not think about, you know, your mental health, so to speak? And
yeah, you know, I know, but you know what? I have this lovely relationship with PSE&G. You know, they'd love to send me a 2-month bill with many digits on it, to the point where I told you, I wasn't even going to open the bill, and I didn't, because I was terrified as to what it would be, because it's the June-July bill, so, you know, it's the AC, and it's the pool.
And the pool.
And I ran the pool, you know, the pool's been in great shape. As it turned out, and I've been where I am, you know, out on Long Island for 30 years. Anybody who lives on Long Island knows that the electric bills are just insane. But I don't know how I pulled this off. I had my lowest June-July electric bill that I've ever had. And it was, you know, it was basically $600 for 2 months.
Wait until August and September.
Well, it'll be actually will wind up being lower. And the thing is, I realized now why it's lower than it was. And I mean, because we've always had the air conditioner, always have the pool, but I no longer have children who run the washing machine to wash. Well, let me just, because I had daughters, so. I no longer have daughters at home who run the washing machine to wash one article of clothing. I no longer have daughters who run a dishwasher to wash one dish. Okay, along with, you know, my daughter's not being at home, and that every light in every room is on. And you know, you got 3 kids on 3 computers. They didn't have TVs in their room, which is good. But all of that electricity that you kind of take for granted,
right,
and that's running through the day and night and weekends and everything else, I don't have it anymore. So that's where I'm saving it now.
So you see the need to work yourself into the ground for 12 consecutive days to make enough money
to pay the electric
bill.
In other words, all it does is pass. It just goes in the checking account and then goes out of the checking account at the same time.
I agree with you. I say the money that we make is, I say this to my wife, it's utilitarian. In other words, it's only being used for stuff like the electric bill, or to, you know, replace appliances, your car, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, don't even bring that, please. I just had my oil change. I am on 246,000 miles and counting.
Wow. On
my 15-year-old Toyota, and I have to beat my old record was on my Pathfinder. I got to 258,000. So I've got 13,000 miles to go, and I drive 125 miles a day.
Well, you know,
so I may get there, you know, and it won't take me that long to get there.
Right.
So I want to break that record, and then maybe next year I'll
call me up again
for a new vehicle.
I'll give you a push or something.
Well, like I said, I don't even want to jinx it, because I want to get home tonight.
Right.
All right. Let's say good night. Have a great weekend, everybody.
And you thought people in television make a ton of money, right?
Well, a few do. We're not that few.
We're not few.
We really, you know, believe me. You know, people do have this notion that we live glamorous lives.
Really?
Yeah. Some people are cut out for champagne and caviar. You and I kind of live through beer and pretzel.
Precisely.
Exactly.
Robin. Yeah.
All right. So let's say goodnight. Lower Hudson Valley awaits Monsieur Rayo.
And the New Jersey folks, and you folks too on Long Island, the island of Long, have the great privilege and pleasure of seeing Mr. Chiaffi in just a very few moments in FiOS 1 News Long Island and FiOS 1 News New Jersey.
All right, folks. Have a great night and a great weekend. And
a safe weekend. We'll be back on Monday.
We'll be back on Monday.
Laboring.